Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Now, the other day I checked out a video by Liv Christine called Love Decay, and it was featuring an artist called Michelle Darkness, and I spoke briefly on the fact that, I'm a fan of Michelle Darkness. I've heard his solo album, I in fact own his solo album, and I mentioned throughout the video that the way he sang in that video wasn't the way I'd heard him sing before. So I decided I'd look at a band called End of Green, which is one of his bands. I've never actually heard the band before, so I'm not sure what the actual band itself sounds like, but I'm hoping that it's going to have the style of singing of his that I've heard before. So there we go. So obviously I haven't actually heard the band before, so I obviously did a little bit of research, as I usually do. And I came out with End of Green is a German gothic doom metal band formed in Stuttgart in 1992. So they've been going for quite some time. Why I haven't heard of them, I don't know. Anyway, according to the singer, Michael Huber, otherwise known as Michelle Darkness, the band's name implies the end of the colour green, a colour which is often associated with symbolising hope. So this band is essentially called The End of Hope. This fits in with the type of music that the band produces. The band describes its style as depressed subcore. The lyrics are mostly about loneliness, depression, pain and death. The group released their debut album Infinity on Nuclear Blast in 1996, and they've performed live with such bands as Paradise Lost, one of my favourite bands, Iggy Pop, and In Extremo, as well as playing at the Wave Gothic Treffen and Wacken Open Air Festivals in 2006. On August 15th, 2008, The Sixth Sense was released. It's the band's most successful album to date. The limited edition includes the Acoustic EP, which is an acoustic CD with 4 previous tracks plus 1 new track. So there we go, a little bit of info. I'm going to have to look up some of these afterwards, assuming that this band is good. And it says German Gothic Doom. Now, I've made no secret, I am a big fan of doom metal. I love my doom. In fact, I'm wearing my Dying Bride shirt as it is. Yes, I'm intrigued to see where this goes. And if it's got the style of singing I'm familiar with, this is going to sound awesome. Now, the track I've found is called Dark Side of the Sun. It's off their most recent album, released in 2017, I believe. I believe it's been released in 2017. Anyway, the track is called Dark Side of the Sun, but I was completely unable to find any lyrics whatsoever. So I'm just going to be reacting to the song itself and the music. So I can't talk about the actual meaning of the song. But anyway, let's have a look at this, shall we? I'm intrigued to see where this goes. I'm hoping this is going to be what I'm expecting. So yes, Dark Side of the Sun by End of Green. Let's have a look.
Death, you bless me once again. A silver coin for the ferryman. Sail me to the end of life. some burning ground will end his fight. Cold, bright night, the dark side of the sun, far satellite, it's fallen from the stars. Strange the sunset ends, where gods die by own hands. Long for longing dreams, we're flowing with the stream. I will be blessed by honesty, living my life in misery, enjoying the days we left on earth. It can be better, it gets worse. This is the fall of a mankind's right. Horizons on fire, burn the cities tonight. Enjoying the hours left on earth. It can be better, it gets worse.
Well, there we go. Actually, he ended up listening to the whole song, and I was just so caught up in that song. It is such a great piece of music, and that is exactly what I was hoping for where it demonstrated the singing voice of his that I am used to, not the one that he had in that track with Liv Christine. You know, I mentioned in the Love Decay track that he had a really deep, rich voice, and that was a perfect example of it. I mean, the depth of his voice is so amazing. You know, it's almost akin to that of Pete Steele from Typo Negative. He's got such a deep, rich voice. It is phenomenal. And, you know, the music to that was really good as well. It wasn't like overly complicated. It was, well, I mean, they described themselves as a German Gothic doom metal band. Now, whilst I wouldn't say that was quite the sort of doom metal that I'm familiar with, it definitely had it had the elements that, you know, it was slow paced, it wasn't overly complicated. You know, it didn't have like fiddly bits of pretentious guitars and stuff like the guitar solo in itself was fairly simple. But it was a great piece of music. I absolutely loved that song, and it really did showcase, you know, his voice. You know, because there's that main bit where he's singing the verse where his voice is like really deep, and then when he comes to like the chorus, you know, the tone raises, but he's still got a really great sound to his voice. The video itself was actually very interesting as well. It's almost like the members of the band were sort of watching their own lives and watching them. I don't know, maybe watching them make bad decisions or watching their past mistakes and possibly wanting to get rid of them or find some way of correcting them. I'm not entirely sure. But that was a phenomenal song. I'd need to hear more from this band because, like I said, all I've heard of him before was his solo album. That's all I was aware of that he'd done. And, you know, Brand New Drug was quite some years ago now. I think it was 2007, maybe. I could be wrong. But, you know, so it's quite a while ago that album came out, and that's all I'd heard of it. I mean, he even did a cover version of The Sound of Silence on that album, but not as good as some versions, but it's still a pretty decent version. And if you can imagine Sound of Silence sung in that voice, it's quite something to behold, even if it's not the perfect version of the track. But no, I very much enjoyed that. I'm going to have to look more into more of their stuff and see if I can get my hands on some, because I really did enjoy that very, very much. And I'm hoping some of you enjoyed that as well. But since I can't really go into the lyrics, I can't really say much else about it, so I'm going to leave that as it is for the time being. If anybody would like to suggest a track for me to react to, then please do so by all means. You can drop a comment in the comments section below, or message me on my Facebook or my Instagram, or you could even message me through my Patreon, where you could also help to support me, to help me create further content on this channel, maybe even improve the quality of this content. So there's that option. Just do know, if you do make a suggestion, it may take me a while to get around to it, as I get suggested so many tracks every single day. My list grows faster than I can record the videos. Like for every one video I make, I get suggested another 12 tracks, so my list grows really, really fast. But I do write down every suggestion I get, so it will get done eventually. It just might take me a while to get there. Also, Metalhead Reacts is a proud supporter of the Sophie Lancaster Foundation. They are a British-based charity whose main goal is to put an end to hate crime, mainly those aimed towards those of the alternative culture. It's something I believe in very, very strongly, because, you know, all of my life through high school or secondary school, whatever you want to call it, up until this very moment, I've been bullied, I've been attacked, I've been insulted, assaulted, and all this sort of thing, just because of the music I listen to and because of the clothes that I wear. And, it happens to people all over the world every single day, and people are getting violently attacked just because of this. It's something I've never understood. I couldn't understand the reason why people were attacking me, why people were bullying me, just because of my taste in music. Because, the music I listen to in my own personal time, or on my phone, or, through my headphones, whatever, I'm not disturbing them with it. I'm not forcing them to listen to it. But for some reason they take objection to this, and they think it's an acceptable thing to violently attack me just because I'm listening to it. No one's making them listen to it. So what's their problem with it? It never made sense to me. And, if you don't like the way I'm dressed, or you don't like the way somebody else is dressed, that's still not an excuse to attack them. If you don't like the way someone's dressed, you just don't look at them. It's really, really simple. You just move your eye line ever so slightly to the side, and you're not looking at them anymore. There are infinite directions you can look in. If you don't like the way someone's dressed, don't look. Really easy. But none of these things are an excuse to attack someone. But it still happens, and people are getting hospitalised because people are attacking them because of their taste in music, and it's absolutely absurd. It's beyond ridiculous. You don't attack someone because they like different TV shows or movies to you. You don't attack someone because they like different flavour crisps or different flavour ice cream to you. So why would you attack them because of their taste in music? It makes no sense, and attacking them isn't going to accomplish anything. The only reason they do it is just to show off in front of their mates, and that's quite simply it. They want to look big, they want to look clever. I beat up a mosher. What's so big and clever about that? There isn't anything big and clever about it. There's nothing smart about it. It's not an achievement in any way. But it's happening all the time, and it's ridiculous. And when it gets to a point where a young woman like Sophie Lancaster and her boyfriend Rob Maltby are violently attacked by a group of people, I mean, the group was about 5 or 6 people, jumped them and attacked them and beat them so severely that Sophie Lancaster ended up dying from her injuries. I mean, both of them had their heads stamped on. I think Rob Maltby suffered with some sort of brain damage. I'm not sure whether he did or not, so don't quote me there, but I think he did. But Sophie Lancaster was kicked and stood on her head so violently and so viciously that she died. She was in a coma for 13 days before, you know, she inevitably died, and her family had to sit there and watch that happen. You know, this shouldn't happen. This shouldn't be allowed to happen, and we need to put a stop to it before it happens again. And this is what the Sophie Lancaster Foundation is all about. They want to put an end to this. They want to raise more awareness of this, the fact that this is happening. You know, and they want to help anybody who might be suffering in that way. You know, they don't want to see another family go through what they went through. You know, nobody should have to suffer and die just because they like different music or different clothes. It's unacceptable. So if you'd like to find out more about the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, there is a link to their website in the description below. You can go over there, find out what they're working on at the moment, find out what their goal is, because they can explain it so much better than I can. And if you can help them in any way, even if it's something as simple as one of these Sophie wristbands, or maybe even one of these Sophie wristbands, you know, they've got a whole bunch of other merchandise on their web store. You know, if you can help them out in any small way, you know, it'll be fabulous. You know, the smallest amount can make the biggest difference, and the sooner we bring more attention to this, the sooner we raise more awareness of this, the sooner we can help stamp out prejudice, hatred, and intolerance everywhere. But I'm going to leave that as it is for the time being. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.